For decades, salt mining has been a backbone for many community members in Nchalo, Malawi's southern district of Chikwawa. But the recent Cyclone Freddy, which made a landfall in Malawi, has shattered dreams of many salt miners, including members of Nchalo Salt Mining Cooperative, who had hoped to realize more from their toil. Cyclone Freddy, which has killed over 600 people and displaced over 500,000 people in Malawi, has also caused extensive damage to salt mines, destroying equipment and infrastructure. In Chikwawa, the devastation has halted operations of salt miners. Esther Banda is the chairperson of Nchalo Salt Mining Cooperative, and she narrates the tribulation. When Cyclone Freddy had made a landfall on 10 March, there were heavy and continuous rains. At around 12 midnight on the 13th March, we heard commotion outside. It was village members who were alerting us to move to the higher grounds as the area was flooding. When we went outside, the flooding waters were already in our compounds. Just like that, we left our homes to the higher grounds where we sought shelter without taking our belongings. 2 days later, after the water levels had lowered, we returned to where our salt mines are located. We found that the building where we store our cooperative equipment and the 42 salt bags were all submerged in flooding water. The 42 bags of salt were all dissolved in water. That's when we informed our traditional leader of our ordeal and also officers at SEPA who had been assisting our cooperative. Currently, we are stranded as our homes as well as our mining equipment have been destroyed. We would love if well-wishers would step in to help us with our current needs like foodstuffs, as well as assisting us with our long-run needs to rebuild from the aftermath of the devastation. Few days before Cyclone had made a landfall in Malawi, government's Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services had made announcements of the impending cyclone and possibilities of flooding. The announcements helped many, including Hastings James, another member of Nchalo Salt Mining Cooperative, to prepare for the impending disaster.
Last year, in 2022, we were also affected by Cyclone Ana. So when SEPA started supporting us, it constructed a salt warehouse and trained us on disaster preparedness and management. So when we heard the news that there was a possibility of flooding this year, we prepared ourselves to make sure that the salt was placed in a more secured and high place in our warehouse. We brought together big jerrycans and placed them on top of each other to create a higher platform where we stored our salt. We did that in preparedness to make sure that in case the flooding occurs, the water shouldn't reach the 42 bags of salt we had just produced. So when the flooding occurred, we were overwhelmed with what we had to rescue from the raging waters. Since the ugly occurrence happened during the night, we had to save our lives, our families, our belongings, as well as the equipment and salt at our mining stores. We decided to come to our mining premise to save whatever we could, but the place was unreachable. We returned to the village to hire a canoe so that we could get to the mining site, only to discover that all our salt was dissolved into the flooding water. We only managed to rescue a few mining equipment. Otherwise, the other equipment was washed away by the flooding water.
Kutamangira kuzaona ku office kuti no mene timasungira katundu athu kuti ali
Records from the Malawi Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services indicate that Malawi received 6 months' rains in a space of 6 days as the result of Cyclone Freddy. According to Group Village Headman Nkhwazi, no aid has been rendered to his subjects who have been affected by the damage.
Ndimapempha kwa amabungwe amene angakhale anzathu amene aboma kuchokera mmene tida.
Mine is just an appeal. We are in dire need of help. Since the devastation happened, no aid has been given to us.
Kwa Nkhwazi kapena kwa group cha Vilagale kuti tikuthandizidwa kudzera kuti no kuli anzathu ena timati amatsukambia ndi amene akuthandizidwa malire ndi tala uko.
Weeks after the devastation caused by Cyclone Freddy, officials from Center for Environmental Policy and Advocacy, CEPA, who have been supporting Nchalo Salt Mining Cooperative with financial assistance from IM-Swedish Development Partner, are visiting the salt mines and affected miners to assess the extent of the damage. Charles Kabambi is CEPA's Humanitarian Programs Officer.
It's devastating because last year we also had the same floods. Because last year we had Cyclone Ana. It also affected their livelihoods. So we had helped them in rebuilding through several interventions under the what we called Humanitarian Response Project. We were giving them social cash transfer funds, around 52,000 kwacha a month. We did that for 3 months, but we also helped them to mobilize themselves into cooperatives so that they should develop a solving culture and to have an easy access to funds to help them maybe in small-scale businesses, but also help them to access the basic necessities within their livelihoods. So it was more of a rebuilding phase. But now all those things that we did last year, it's like we have lost everything that the mileage that they had gained in as far as recovery is concerned. So basically, it's so devastating and it's retrogressive. But I think we will have to sit down and map a way forward. But all we can say is that there's a huge devastation because almost each and every rights holder, each and every salt miner has been affected in one way or the other. I have an appeal to well-wishers, government. It seems here the devastation as elsewhere has also been huge. The members here do not have food, they don't have clean water, they don't have shelter, beddings. Others are complaining their kids have lost maybe uniforms. So I would appeal to well-wishers, those that can, may you please assist them with mainly the food. The people need food, they don't have food. So if we can donate food, but also other basic necessities, that would be so helpful because the people haven't been reached yet in GVH Chavirakale in Nchalo.
Despite the challenges miners like those of Nchalo Salt Mining Cooperative are going through, they remain resilient and determined to rebuild their lives. With the provision of aid and support from international community, they can start to recover and rebuild their business.